did you have a support system that you were talking to, like family, or was it church members? Like, how did you like assess these situations? Or
Yeah. I think it definitely evolved over time. I think when I first started my relationship with God, like I didn't really have that many people. So it really was me and God. So that was kind of like what was sustaining me through the whole time, journaling, different
yeah,
things like that. Eventually I found like a best friend like in my school years. And so her name was Claudia. And so she was super dope in terms of just encouraging me, really pivotal in my like development stages of like
yeah,
just becoming more of a confident person. So she was the definition of like a real friend of like I know like in those years I was like, oh, I think I want to win for like homecoming queen, and that was like out of character for me. And so she was like, oh, you want to do it, let's make it happen. And so I
yeah,
think that was really cool to see like a friend who was like not hating on you and being like, oh, well, you could never do something like that, but her first reaction was, oh, you want to do it, let's figure out how to make it happen and let me support you.
yeah,
And
super
so
supportive.
she was like a super dope friend who encouraged me in those seasons, and even now like in my like adult seasons, so like my management team, a lot of them were really close with each other, and so we'll have conversations navigating through that
Yeah,
with like people who we may have to lose in business, but it's like dang, like we were real close, but so
yeah,
we talked through those hard conversations of like integrity versus friendship versus what's forgivable versus what's forgivable but still do not associate anymore.
yeah. Like
And
loving from a distance.
yeah, and so I think I definitely had some well-rounded people around me who were able just to talk through life and navigate. And then I think at the end of the day too, some of it just lies on you because you just have to make a decision of what do you want
Yeah.
to live with, what are you willing to accept as a person, what are you not willing to accept as a person. So yeah.
I'm so curious. What has been one of those, what would you say is a deal breaker in friendship or business? Like, is there something that you can specifically pinpoint was like, I just had to let it go?
I'm like, so one that specifically caused the issue was like demeaning other people in the workplace. So I had somebody who was on our team, loved her. She was great to me. But to everybody else who worked with her, like she just would demean them, make them feel like they're less than, like, hey, I'm running the show. All
Yeah.
y'all are irrelevant. And it was kind of like, we can't operate that like that. Like, even though I love you so much, like, if you're not willing to own up to that you're demeaning other people, belittling other people, like
Yeah.
that's not good because that's not a safe work environment.
Not
And
at
like,
all.
especially when I stand for like Christianity and like knowing that people are loved, it's like that's not a great example of love. So I would say like that's a deal breaker because like you could be like the best
And
skilled
what you
person
do.
ever, but
Yeah.
at the same time, if when people are coming to work, they're coming leaving less than, and like you're lowering like their sense of self every day, like it's like I can't
Yeah.
work with that. So I would say like that's something like that's a deal breaker.